Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the veil of our reality? What ancient forces stir in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to break free from their eternal prison? Well, today, we're diving deep into the most dangerous mission ever conceived, a journey that will test every ounce of courage, wisdom, and determination you possess. My name is Marcus, and 3 months ago, I discovered something that changed everything I thought I knew about our world. Hidden beneath layers of forgotten history and buried secrets, there exists a parallel dimension where creatures of unimaginable power have been trapped for centuries. But here's the terrifying part: the barriers are weakening. These aren't your typical movie monsters or childhood nightmares. These are ancient beings of pure malevolence, entities that feed on chaos and destruction. They've been clawing at the edges of reality, desperately trying to break through into our world. And if they succeed, everything we know and love will be consumed in darkness. But wait, there's more. I'm not just telling you this story to scare you. I'm telling you because I've made a decision that will either save both worlds or destroy them completely. I'm going on a journey to their realm, a mission to cure the world of demons and ensure they remain locked away forever. Now you might be thinking this sounds impossible. You're probably right, but sometimes impossible is the only option we have left. The signs are everywhere if you know how to look. Strange disappearances in major cities, unexplained phenomena captured on security cameras, temperature drops that shouldn't exist. The fabric between dimensions is tearing apart. Let me take you back to where this all began. Picture this. I was working late in my apartment, just another ordinary Tuesday night. The rain was pounding against the windows, creating that rhythmic sound that usually helps me focus. But something felt different. The air itself seemed heavy, charged with an energy I couldn't identify. That's when I heard it. A whisper that didn't come from any direction I could pinpoint. It wasn't coming through the walls or the windows. It was coming from somewhere else entirely. The voice spoke in a language I'd never heard before. Yet somehow, I understood every word perfectly. The message was simple but chilling. They were coming back. The ancient treaty was breaking. The seals were failing. And humanity had less time than anyone realized to prepare for what was approaching. I spent the next 3 days researching everything I could find. Ancient texts that most scholars dismiss as mythology, archaeological discoveries that governments have classified beyond top secret, testimonies from people who were labelled as mentally unstable simply because they spoke about encounters with beings from another realm. What I discovered changed my perspective on everything. These demons, as we call them, weren't always enemies of humanity. Thousands of years ago, there was a great war between dimensions. Our ancestors made a pact with these creatures. They would return to their realm and remain there forever, in exchange for certain knowledge and power that helped early civilizations flourish. But pacts made in desperation rarely last forever. The terms of the agreement were specific. As long as humanity remained pure of heart and united in purpose, the barriers would hold strong. But look around you. Look at the state of our world today. Division, hatred, greed, and corruption have weakened the very foundations of that ancient protection. The demons didn't break the treaty, we did. And now they're preparing to reclaim what they believe is rightfully theirs. Our world, our reality, our existence itself. Here's where things get really interesting. During my research, I found references to something called the cleansing protocol. It's not a weapon or a spell. It's a journey, a pilgrimage to their dimension that only one person can undertake. The chosen individual must face the demon lords directly and prove that humanity still possesses the qualities that originally earned their respect. If successful, the barriers can be reinforced for another millennium. If unsuccessful, well, let's just say failure isn't an option worth considering. Now you're probably wondering how I know I'm the chosen one. Trust me, I wondered the same thing. But the signs became impossible to ignore. Objects moving without explanation in my presence. Electronics malfunctioning whenever I experienced strong emotions. And most convincing of all, the ability to see glimpses of their world overlapping with ours. Last week, I watched a shadow creature walk through a crowded shopping mall. Nobody else could see it. Nobody else felt the temperature drop 20 degrees in its wake. Nobody else heard the low growl that made every dog within a 3-block radius start howling simultaneously. The preparation phase has been intense, physical training to survive the harsh environment of their realm, mental conditioning to resist the psychological warfare they'll undoubtedly employ, spiritual cleansing to ensure my intentions remain pure throughout the ordeal. But the most challenging preparation has been emotional, accepting that this might be a one-way journey, understanding that even if I succeed in reinforcing the barriers, I might not make it back to tell the story. Coming to terms with the possibility that my family and friends will never know what happened to me or why I disappeared. The entry point I've located exists in a place where the dimensional walls are naturally thin. It's hidden deep within an ancient cave system that most people would never find, even if they were specifically looking for it. The coordinates align perfectly with astronomical events that occur only once every few centuries. Tomorrow night, during the lunar eclipse, the barriers will be at their weakest point. That's when I'll make the crossing. That's when this theoretical mission becomes terrifyingly real. I've prepared 3 sealed letters. One for my family, explaining why I had to leave without saying goodbye. One for the authorities, providing all the research I've compiled so they'll understand what's really happening when strange events begin occurring worldwide. And one for whoever finds my apartment after I'm gone, containing detailed instructions on how to continue this work if I don't return. The demons have had centuries to prepare for this confrontation. They know I'm coming. They've been watching, learning, adapting their strategies based on every move I've made. But here's what they don't know. I've been studying their weaknesses just as intently as they've been studying mine. Every ancient text I've uncovered reveals fragments of their true nature. These beings aren't invincible gods of destruction, like the legends suggest. They're prisoners who've been isolated for so long that they've forgotten what genuine human connection feels like. The key to the cleansing protocol isn't violence or magical warfare. It's something far more powerful and infinitely more dangerous: compassion. The original treaty wasn't forged through battle. It was created through understanding. Our ancestors didn't defeat these creatures. They convinced them to leave willingly. Think about it. If you were trapped in a dimension where every thought, every emotion, every experience was filtered through rage and darkness, wouldn't you eventually lose sight of what peace felt like? That's exactly what's happened to them. They've been marinating in their own hatred for centuries, and now they can't remember why they agreed to the separation in the first place. My mission isn't to fight them, it's to remind them, to show them that humanity, despite all our flaws and failures, still possesses the spark of goodness that made the original pact possible. But this approach comes with risks that keep me awake at night. What if I'm wrong? What if compassion is just another weakness they'll exploit? What if the moment I show mercy, they tear me apart and use my death as the final key to break through into our world? These questions cycle through my mind constantly, but I keep coming back to the same conclusion. Fear has never solved anything. Running away has never made problems disappear. And pretending this threat doesn't exist won't make it go away. Someone has to take the first step, even if that step leads directly into the unknown. The physical preparation has been exhausting, but the mental preparation has been even more challenging. I've been practicing meditation techniques that most people would consider extreme, sitting in complete darkness for hours, learning to maintain inner peace while surrounded by disturbing sounds and sensations. I've exposed myself to controlled fear responses, training my mind to remain calm when every instinct screams at me to run. Because once I cross into their dimension, panic will be my greatest enemy. One moment of lost control could undo centuries of protection and unleash forces that no human army could possibly contain. The dream started 2 weeks ago, vivid, terrifying glimpses of what awaits me on the other side. landscapes that defy every law of physics, cities built from crystallized screams, rivers that flow upward into skies filled with eyes instead of stars, and everywhere, the constant presence of beings watching, waiting, judging whether I'm worthy of their attention. But mixed in with the nightmares are other visions, moments of unexpected beauty, gardens where flowers bloom in colours that don't exist in our spectrum, music that resonates through dimensions, creating harmonies that heal rather than harm. These glimpses give me hope that redemption is possible, even in a realm built from darkness. The most disturbing part of my preparation has been learning about the others who attempted this journey before me. Historical records mention at least 12 individuals over the past millennium who claimed to have the calling. None of them returned. Their disappearances were explained away as mental breakdowns, missing person cases that went cold, or tragic accidents with no witnesses. What if they succeeded but couldn't find their way back? What if they're still there, trapped between dimensions, unable to return home, but unwilling to abandon their mission? The possibility that I might join their ranks is something I've had to accept. My equipment is minimal by necessity. The crossing point won't allow anything technological or artificially created. No weapons, no communication devices, no modern conveniences that might give me an advantage. I'll be entering their world with nothing but the clothes on my back and the knowledge I've accumulated. The one item I'm bringing is a simple wooden pendant that belonged to my grandmother. She always claimed it had protective properties, something I dismissed as superstition until I started this research. Now I've learned that the wood comes from a tree that grew at the site of the original treaty signing. If there's any truth to family legends, this small piece of our world might serve as an anchor to help me find my way home. Tonight is my last night in this reality. Tomorrow evening, when the eclipse reaches totality, I'll descend into those ancient caves and step through a doorway that most people pray never opens. The weight of two worlds rests on decisions I'll make in the next 48 hours. I've spent these final hours walking through my neighbourhood, memorising faces, sounds, and sensations that I might never experience again. The laughter of children playing in the park, the smell of fresh bread from the bakery on the corner, the feeling of sunlight warming my skin without any underlying threat or malevolence. These simple, beautiful moments of ordinary life are what I'm fighting to preserve, not just for myself, but for every person who deserves to live without fear of ancient horrors breaking through into their reality. The hardest part isn't the danger I'm about to face. It's the possibility that I'm completely wrong about everything. What if the whispers I heard were just my imagination? What if the signs I've been interpreting are nothing more than coincidences? What if I'm about to throw my life away chasing shadows and delusions? But then I remember the shadow creature in the shopping mall, the way electronics malfunction around me, the dreams that feel more real than waking life. These aren't products of an unstable mind. They're evidence of a reality most people aren't equipped to perceive. So here we are. In less than 24 hours, everything changes. Either I return with the knowledge that our world is safe for another 1,000 years, or I don't return at all. But you know what? That's perfectly fine with me, because some things are worth risking everything for. The truth is, I'm not doing this alone. Every person who's ever chosen hope over fear, love over hatred, unity over division has contributed to this mission. The barriers between dimensions aren't just held together by ancient magic. They're reinforced by every act of genuine human kindness that happens in our world. That means you have a role to play too. While I'm facing the demon lords in their realm, you'll be here, living your life, making choices that either strengthen or weaken the foundation of our protection. Choose compassion when anger seems easier. Choose understanding when judgment feels justified. Choose connection when isolation appears safer. Because ultimately, this isn't just my journey, it's humanity's journey. And whether I succeed or fail tomorrow night, the real work continues right here, in the decisions we make every single day. The eclipse begins at sunset. By dawn, we'll know if the barriers hold or if everything we've ever known faces its greatest test. Whatever happens, remember this: fear may be powerful, but hope is eternal. Darkness may be vast, but even the smallest light can pierce through it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for believing. And if you never hear from me again, thank you for carrying this story forward. The journey begins now.